Hello, thank you for joining us on the Tomosi Business Training Series. This week, we resume with our training session on strategy versus execution, what is the bridge? As always, please share your feedback via the comment section below or via our email, which is info@tapmedia.com. Enjoy.
Good morning, those of you who regularly follow us on this podcast. And I really want to thank you so much because I've met old people, young people, men, women, youth who follow us every Friday. And for me, it's an honor that the things we say, teach, and try to put into practice on personal level or company level, people out there watch us. You are the best witnesses to us trying to keep on the right path. So I just wanted to follow through on, remember our allegory of the bridge. So strategy and results, and the bridge being execution. So 2 days ago, I kept reflecting on a few more elements that are culture, that tie into this bridge that we used as a demonstration. And I want to take you through 3 generations that I find important in not just execution, but leadership. So there's a generation of my parents. My father was born in 1921 and passed away in 1999. That generation, and some of us who had opportunity to interface with that generation, understood very clearly that it was a conversational generation. It's a generation that on whose foot you sit and use your ears attentively, because words transfer knowledge and wisdom. So listening to this conversation teaches you, first of all, how to listen. Active listening is different from passive listening. Passive listening, I can just fake attention, use the eyes to look at you, but my mind is far away. Active listening takes in all, learns, and retains. So that conversational generation wasn't able to write or to read, but they used these around the fire, evening conversations, to transfer knowledge. So let me give you a very quick example. There's a little riddle that I sing often to my children, and I'll sing it shortly. It's a riddle that speaks of wisdom, intelligence, knowledge, and these things not being size. So this is how the riddle used to go. For those of you who understand, Nyakitara used to say, Nyakate nyakato hunjirechi, punjire ntare rwangeine, keito mwana neitondi, oweito shoro tuareine. What this means is that once upon a time, the lion and the cow were great friends. It is the cow that taught a lion how to drink water. I didn't know that lions often drink water. They get thirsty too. It is the lion that taught a cow to walk long distances in search of grass. They both had babies, and they had this one watering hole. So one day the lion is hunting, and it returns, it finds the baby, the calf, baby of the cow, had muddied up the waters. The lion was very upset. And because the lions don't restrain themselves, the lion ate up the baby of her friend and walked away. So cow returns later, finds baby dead. So what does the cow do? Tramples on the cub of the lion. But the cow knows that the lion is dangerous. It will now go after you. So she runs and finds a herd of zebras, and the zebras sing this song, Cow, what are you running away from? And then she says, I'm running away from my friend. We've lost a relationship. She wants to kill me. And the zebras say, no, we'll surround. You see our stripes, white and black striped body, because, zebras don't go hungry. When you see them in the dry season, they are still looking all, big and fat. So he said, we will surround the lion and kill it. Shortly after, the lion roared, and the zebras took off. Cowardice. So you promise to do something, you don't. The lion roars and the zebra just takes off. On and on the cow meets elephants. The elephants say, we are big in size, we will deal with the lion. Lion shows up on the hill, roars, and in Runyachitara we dramatize the language. It said that when the lion roars, all the hills shake. And so the elephants take off. Eventually this cow finds a little animal called a rabbit. She's seated on a rock and she's playing a flute, like almost oblivious of the environment around her, but rabbit is very smart, knows what to do. So the rabbit, taking this, when I tell this story, it takes long, but I want you to see the gems of wisdom inside. So the rabbit says, cow, the battle stops here. I will not run away from the lion. I am small, but I am wise. I know how to deal with this. And cow says, you and your size, the biggest of animals in the wilderness, have taken off from just a roar. So rabbit says, do two things. Give me a pint of milk so I can drink and fill up, and give me 2 pints of blood. Because, you can bleed a cow to make blood pudding. So the rabbit knew what to do. So very quickly takes 2 pints of blood and hits the cow in the rock. And in no minute, the lion shows up and roars. And the rabbit just plays the flute. Like, I don't hear the roar. And the lion is kind of, how can you not shake or run? I'm going to have you for lunch. The rabbit says, you dare touch me, I'll kill you. So this is a small rabbit telling the mighty lion in the jungle, I'll kill you. So the lion jumps to catch the rabbit. The rabbit pulls out the other calabash where she had kept a pint of blood, throws it at the face of the lion. The lion touches the face, sees blood. She knows she's been shot with an arrow. Tries again, falls on the rock, sends another pint of blood, and it splashes on the head. The lion touches the head and sees brain. Of course, the lion has, when she smells blood, she knows she's been shot. And then the story says the lion died out of its, incompetence, out of its not knowing how to react to a little animal that had bled it. But it had been a strategy, a tactic of the rabbit. What's the moral of the story? When you listen to that at my age when I was young, first, size is not everything. You can say you are king of the jungle, you're powerful, but if you're not wise, you can't do much. Secondly, relationships, friendships. Because to this day, we know, for example, in Ankole, that rabbits drink milk. And the story says it started when the rabbit struck up a beautiful friendship at the time of trouble with a cow. To this date, rabbits can often drink from the teats of cows. So don't disrespect relationships and friendships just for the purpose of either being strong today. So this is wisdom that comes from stories. I could sing you another song from Bunyoro, but we don't have time. So these conversations, extremely important for retention, for memory, for teaching, for wisdom. But second point, these conversations died. How did they die? Text, reading. When schools began across the country, there was no government school until about the 1950s. All schools were religious schools from 1900. So when schools happened and people went to school, these conversations of wisdom died off largely. You have to be very deliberate to know these stories. Everybody got to text and reading. So some people who were serious, the generation of people above me and me, thought you have a conversation with an author. You interrogate the intention and the views of the author. You bring your own, so you're seated in Kampala, but you're transported to Moscow in 1940 at the attack of Germany, Operation Barbarossa in 1940 or 41 or 42. So you really are alive, but in a book. So that generation that understood reading very well and retaining, and the conversational method are the leaders of today in science and technology, in culture, arts, entertainment, even in politics. This generation, for example, of the president and people who have gone, led the country in the past, many of those came from a unit of those two generations. Today's generation is the image generation. So conversation died, text has died, and now we have something called the image generation. So how you look, how you're dressed is more important than what you're saying or what you know. Often this generation is an Instagram generation. How you shape nice, put light around the picture determines whether you win a contract or whether you win an election or whether you find a marriage partner. So some of us have trouble with that because life is more than an image. What this generation doesn't tell you is that the picture on Instagram which they post, they've taken 30 of them and 29 have failed and they are all not right. They put the best, but they've not told you the context. Conversation and reading gave us context. We knew the bad, the good, and the ugly. Today we focus on how good you look. So what am I asking you today? That to execute very well, you have to stand at the intersection of the three. You have to be a conversationalist. So understand that not everybody reads. Secondly, that not everybody listens very well. And that this image generation, based on the internet, I find this interesting. There's more data here on the internet. There's more information, but there's less retention. There's less memory these days. It is because things are instant. Instantness often leaves us shallow. We need to dig deeper and stand in those three generations. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
I'd like to hear from you. Please email us at info@tapmedia.com and visit our website at www.tapmedia.com. You can also visit our offices located at Tomosi Business Park, Luzira, Port Bell Road, or call 0414 220 702. Thank you.